Hey, hello everybody. Welcome here to my channel. And please subscribe if you like the content that you see here. Give us a like and also, speak about and share the content here. Here we are to inform the public, and also I'm here to basically speak about the topics that are really voodoo in today's world. We come from a world where apparently when you speak and you say anything that is offensive to somebody else, apparently people take it too hard. And I'm just here to spell the truth. And whether or not you agree or disagree with me, you still have a reason why to disagree with me. I just believe that what is going on is something that we should be vested in, and also check in order for us to understand, how and things that are going on. So today I want to speak about this topic because I find it of very, very relevant today. I will give my prediction later on, and this is something that I've been saying for many years, but I think it's getting worse and worse. So, today I want to speak about anti Semitism and how it's growing in America, and a few of the reasons why. I opened this web browser here so you guys can see a little bit of what, a few of the anti Semitic messages that are being given around the United States in different states. They come from different people, different groups of people. Some people attack the Defense Goyim League, and that's just one of the groups that is giving passing her through. But there's many people individually who are actually passing through these, and I've been looking into these for quite a while. They're basically on the news almost literally every day, being handed out in different states. Sometimes it's reported in YouTube channels. If you just look at the recent searches and you just type in anti Semitic flyers, you'll see that these flyers are literally everywhere around the nation. And this is something that I've been saying since 2015, 2014. I warned everybody that anti Semitism was going to grow at a very large rate. And I told that to some of my Jewish friends, but they seemed like not to listen to me because they think I was joking. But, something that I like doing is I like to give my analysis and predict. And I predicted many things. I predicted that Donald Trump was going to win back in the day, even though he was trailing 10 points away from Hillary. I predicted he was going to win. I predicted that Bernie Sanders was, and the socialist movement back in 2010 was something that was going to come about. That was because of the 2008 recession. So there's many things that I've hit the nail with, the financial collapse and everything else. That's something that I'm still waiting for, but it's impending, and the banks just, SPB Bank and other banks have, not done too well lately. So, right now, I'm focused on this because I do believe that this will have major repercussions for Jewish people in the short and long run, in a way that we haven't seen for quite some time. Now, as you guys can see here, there's a lot of different flyers. It's just literally everywhere, and anti-Semitism has grown, for what I've seen. Some places like the Southern Poverty Law Center say it's 500% bigger. And let's open one of these. Well, let's open one of these flyers so we can see exactly what this is about. I think I had this open already. Just checking it out. Okay, so uh, as you guys can see, this is a typical anti-Semitic flyer that's been given and passing through. And, it says that every single aspect of the Biden administration is Jewish. Now, at first, when I saw this, I did not know what to say. And a lot of the media outlets are saying that these flyers apparently are anti Semitic in nature. And obviously, they're trying to blame Jews for everything that's going on, especially in the United States and around the world. There's a lot of people who believe in a cabal, there's people who believe in different things. I cannot prove many of these things, but there is some truth to this. And one of the things that stands out when you see a lot of these reports that are put on the media is the fact that it seems like they try to hide the flyers from people not, taking a look at them. Now, I was sent one of these flyers. That was 3 months ago, and it's funny because I have told somebody that my prediction, who he was Jewish, but he didn't believe me, so that's okay. But if we look at the Biden administration, and this is true, a lot of these people, if you look at their last names, for example, Alejandro Mayorkas, I thought he was Latino, but he actually has Jewish origin. Victoria Nuland, she's also Secretary for Political Affairs. She's also Jewish. Samantha Powell, she's not here, but she's also Jewish, um, or at least comes from a Jewish family. Eric Lander, Office of Science and Technology Policy. I did not know that guy was Jewish, so now I do know. Avril Haines is the director still of National Intelligence. That is true. Ron Klain, White House Chief of Staff. He's also Jewish as well. David Cohen, director of the CIA, but I think he's not the current director. So I think they had that one wrong. But he is actually he was somebody else preceded him. Um, and he is he is Jewish, but it's not presently. He's not. Janet Yellen, she is Jewish. Merrick Garland, uh, he is Jewish, and he's the Attorney General. Wendy Sherman, Deputy Secretary of State. I can't. I didn't check on her, but I just didn't have a lot of time. But uh, I mean, Sherman does seem like a last Jewish name. And then Anthony Blinken, also Secretary of State. So it's not wrong. In fact, there's another guy, and he was, if I'm not mistaken, here. He's the head of education. Let me one second here. Let me see. What is his name? The head of education department. It's not really hard to find this. You guys can find Secretary of Education. I think he is Secretary of Education. Miguel Cardona. So I was looking at him as well, and let's see here. All that I need to put here is Miguel Cardona, and I just type in Jewish. I mean, let me see. So there's Cardona's ancestors. Let me see. This is Mallorcan. Okay, so okay, that seems the Secretary of Education can trace his family back to the island. So he seems like Cardona's ancestor of Jewish origin left the island. So he does have Jewish origins as well. And there are a few other people that are not included in this list are also Jewish as well. Now, one of the things that also stand out here is that I didn't know this, but the four-star Admiral Rachel Levine, which is the transgender, and I have nothing against transgender people, so I'm cool with that. But it says U.S. Secretary of it says she's the U.S. Assistant Secretary in Health. She's also transgender. I did not know that. That she was joint Lieutenant Colonel Jennifer Pritzker. She's also a transgender as well, and that surprised me because she's also one of the transgenders. And it's funny because they are about the only two transgenders that I know of that are part of that administration. But I could be wrong. There could be more. I don't know. But the one thing I won't agree here with is I visited this Goyim TV. So let's go there in 1 second. That's actually an anti-Semitic place. Goyim TV. TV. I think that they changed it multiple times, so I'm just looking at the actual site. But there you go. So I was looking at some of the videos that they have here, and I see here a mixture of different people. Um, it seems to me like there's a lot of racist people here who are anti everything. This is definitely anti-Semitic, but there's some who are not anti-Semitic in the sense that they are just anti-Jewish. So it just depends how you look at it. I don't believe that anti-Semitic and anti-Jewish is the same thing. I believe that you can be anti-Jewish and not be anti-Semitic, in the sense that you don't hate in a specific ethnic group based on their genetics. I consider that to be anti-Semitic, versus you have anti-Jewish, which is basically people who descend from a certain religious cult or something like that. So I think those are two different things, and most people I think take. I don't believe most people are anti-Semitic in here, or there's at least a mixture between anti-Semitic and anti-Jewish. Um, you'll see people talking bad about Palestine, whatever. And you have some other people who are also you'll actually see people who are black here who also speak bad about Jews and other things as well. So Goyim TV, it's called. They basically have all sorts of different things going on here. So if you want to look at the things that they do, you can visit their site, Goyim TV, for more information. I mean, they're not banned, so it's online. But going back here, so that's a few things that I've seen here, and another thing that I was looking at is that I was also looking at a lot of the people. This, for example, the Walt Disney. Uh, you know, this is the Walt Disney that put the Jewish star on these people. This is all public, by the way. You can check this yourself. But anyway, there's a lot of Disney anti-Semitic um, flyers being passed through. But okay, so this is an interesting one here. So this is about the media, and when you look at the media itself, let's go back here. So it says anti-Semitic flyers left on drivers during Jewish holidays. Obviously, they're trying to make a statement by putting these no Semitic flyers, but it is true, though, that if you look at all the names of these people who are the head of Paramount, Sony, Fox, Comcast, Discovery, or I think it's Discovery, Walt Disney, a lot of them are Jewish. I don't know. I can't say that they're 96% owned by the media, but there is some truth to that, that they have a lot of influence in the media. And we can see that also in Hollywood. Just also, I was speaking to a black friend of mine, and he was telling me that they pretty much run the discographic record labels. So that's another one. Banking, I know they're also very strong on that as well. And that's because they're very successful people in the sense that, they, the way they, they work together, that's how they achieve a certain amount of power. And there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, so this was the one that I was seeing here, this flyer that I was talking about. Okay, so let's see here. Actually, it even tells you here where these will distribute at. Let me see if I can see it. Okay, this is the Learned Elders of Zion. I don't know that that is true or not, but um, if I could open this one. Anyway, it was talking about the media. So, the media is a field that I'm very interested in. And the media is, something that I look very often. And if you look at most of the people working in places like the Washington Post and other places, a lot of them are actually Jewish as well. Let's see here. Washington Post. Um, let's see. Let's just go here. Let's take a look here. Let's see opinions. Anyway, I was looking at some of the people who work here and their last names, and it seems to suggest that many of them are Jewish. I don't know if everybody's Jewish, but a lot of the reporters are Jewish in here. You can just look at the last name or their name and just type in Jewish in Google, and it will pop out. But I was looking at the Washington Post, the New York Times, also. MSNBC has a lot of Jewish people there working, not only just in the broadcast part, but also as far as directives and the boards and stuff. CNN has a lot of Jews as well. So the Young Turks, I don't know about the Young Turks, but they also have Fox News. Also has their decent amount of Jewish people working there. So um, the more you look into this, the more you actually do realize that they do actually have a lot of influence in the United States. Now, obviously, hold on, give me 1 second here. Okay. So obviously, you know, most people will say, "Well, how can you say that? That is absurd. How could you, what's wrong with people having control and everything else?" Actually, there's nothing wrong with having people in control. For example, the Roman Catholic Church at one point had a lot of control during the time, and just so you guys see, Roman Catholic Church. Right, so there you go. So we definitely don't want to go back to those days either, because we definitely understand what was going on under Pope Leo and other, you know, under Catholic rule was not a really nice. It was the Dark Ages in Europe, and it was terrible. You couldn't even read or write. They wouldn't allow you. You had to pass through the priesthood many times. You had to be a priest. So when we look at the Roman Catholic Church, it was actually, and it's a religion. The Catholics are a religion. A lot of them don't identify as Christian. Some do. It's kind of a debate going on whether Catholics are Christian or not. But a lot of them, don't identify as actual Christian. Some do, and there's a major dispute whether they are Christians or not. And it will be kind of the same as calling a Mormon a Christian, or, for example, calling, I don't know, a Muslim a Christian. Just because they believe in an Abrahamic figure, it doesn't necessarily mean that, or they, for example, they believe in Jesus, it doesn't make them Christians. So I feel like a lot of people attack Catholics as being Christians because they want to just kind of bring down Christians. But to be honest with you, at the end of the day, Catholics, are Catholics, and they calling themselves the Roman Catholic Church. But the point of this is that, you know, when you have a group of people running everything, for example, the Catholic, it was, not very nice during the Roman Catholic Church. We can see the same with Mormons. Mormons don't have that much power in the United States as compared, for example, with Jews. Jewish people have a lot more power, and they work together. But it's never really good when uh, majority of people who represent a certain religious dogma is together to make decisions, because then we're going back to the Roman Catholic Church. And I definitely don't want to do that, because once you start putting people of the same religious, or at least they have a, I mean, even it's weird the fact that a lot of them descend or have a last name that is actually, and or they call themselves Jewish, even though they might be atheists. There's a lot of Jews, even Jews don't even know what they are. A lot of times they believe they're atheists, they're not. But it seems like there's a lot going on there, and it seems like culturally they're very united, even though religiously they might disagree. Uh, for example, they might be Jewish people that say, I don't I am, culturally a Jew, but I don't believe in God. But you still identify with those people. So, as we know throughout their history, they have been very persecuted throughout many different places. A lot of people say they were expelled from 109 countries. I can't verify that that's true. I do know, however, that they were involved in a lot of chaos and a lot of problems, right? And just like everybody else, you know, um, one of the things that when people with power do is that they try to shut you down, and that's what we saw with Kanye West. And that's when it starts to remind me of the Roman Catholic Church, when they start shutting down um, people down. Kanye West, for example, gave, he put a tweet, where he said that, DEFCON Jews or whatever, I'm going to DEFCON Jews, something like that, and it just sparked a lot of issues. He lost a lot of money, and unfortunately for him, he works with them, so I think, I don't know if the head of Balenciaga is, but I know that Adidas and other, a lot of the boards are, they're Jewish, or there's something around there, and they got upset with him, and he lost a lot of money. But it's not that he lost a lot of money; it's the fact that they shut him down, right? And here we go again with this, because the Roman Catholic Church, that's what they were specialists at, and they did it for 1,000 years. They were basically shutting down anybody who opposed the Pope or who questioned him. They were being shut down, including Jewish people as well. So it seems to me like a lot of the foreign policy and everything that is being directed. For example, the fact of the pipelines being blown out. Uh, you know, uh, Janet Yellen, not Janet Yellen. Well, Janet Yellen actually just visited Ukraine, to give Zelensky, I don't know how many $1 billion. We need that in the United States, so I don't know why we're giving that money away. There's a lot of homeless people. There's a lot of black communities who need the help. There's a lot of poor working families who need assistance. And, to give that to a foreign country, they might end up being an enemy in the future. Probably not a good idea. But anyway, I guess Janet Yellen is Jewish, or at least she identifies, or pastor, whatever. But she was giving money to Zelensky, who's also Jewish. And then Victoria Nuland and Blinken were the ones saying that they will blow up the Nord Stream pipeline, and obviously that's under the Biden administration. So if people see that and they're against that, and they see that four or five of those people who are all intertwined happen to be Jewish and they're working together, people can get to conclusions, and you can't say that that's not true. You can't call people who are seeing this anti-Semitic, because now they start saying like, "Wow, now I might be actually anti-Semitic because you're accusing me of something that is actually true, right?" And when you start doing that, you start playing a very dangerous game, because now what you're saying is just like the Roman Catholic Church, right? You're saying the Pope, well, you know what? You're not the head of all authority, and you don't make all the calls. And if somebody was to question Pope Leo, or one of these popes during their time, um, he would be in serious trouble, and they would shut him down. And a lot of the policies of the Roman Catholic Church were against a lot of the people, especially when they went to wars with different Protestant countries. That was not a good thing. So a lot of people take a lot of conclusions out of this. When you start doing that, you start shunning them. And Kanye West and Kyrie Irving, who are brothers to me in the sense that we're all one human race. I don't believe in atheism or anything like that. I believe that we're all one human race. You start to divide people, right? And I think that this is what I personally think. I think that right now, if you look at the head of many banks, I mean, even Goldman Sachs is Goldman Sachs is a Jewish bank. I don't know about J.P. Morgan, but many of them, are run by Jews. I mean, they just do a good job running things. When people are struggling, when people are in the downturn, and you have a group of people who are successful, that's when it starts getting bad for those people, because it doesn't give them, it's like they're basically gaining all the power. And there's nothing wrong, because they did it the legal way, right? So technically they deserve to be in the power they are, but that's not how people are going to see it. That's not how people are going to see this. Okay? That's not how people are going to see this. The person who is fighting these wars, who's sacrificing their lives for a stupid war, that's not how they see the elite level. And they start to hate it. And they hate it a lot. And I think that even when you look at the leftists, even Antifa, and I know many Antifa people. In fact, I do know them. Um, a lot of them are actually Jewish. A lot of them are, well, at least culturally they're Jewish. Their families are, and they're really, really against. They're really against. How would I say? They're against oppression and other things, but it's like it's not just like they're against it, but they want to make it a golden rule. They want everybody, to be like them. So they're more active than the rest of Black Antifa, or the rest of people who are in Antifa, who are, they talk about it, but they're not necessarily the ones kind of pushing the movement. And I can see that, that would be a problem. So George Soros, right? I mean, he is Jewish as himself, and you can basically, name a few. Henry Kissinger was one too, and it's just the list goes on. I mean, they're just good at what they do. I mean, it's gifted. I believe in God, and I do believe they are gifted in that regard. But that's not going to cope too well with the rest of people, unfortunately. And I think that really bad things are going to happen with them soon enough. I really do believe that, and it's not to scare them or anything, but I do believe that um, it's coming a time soon here in the United States where every single person is going to be against them, especially there's a financial collapse and people are struggling. They're going to look for a victim, and that victim is going to be Jews, in my opinion. They will be the scapegoat for everybody, and it will be, and it will just be white people. It's going to be Latinos. It's going to be blacks. It's going to be a lot of different people who thought that they had their backup. They're not going to have their backup. It's not going to happen. In fact, if you think about it, many of the anti-Semitism, I was looking at Latino channels as well. in South America, and this a huge migration of them coming around. Um, the borders, and a lot of Democrats are under the impression, which is very very stupid, that a lot of these people are going to vote Democratic in the future. They're not. Many of them are not. They're going to vote conservative, and many of them are more radical than in other places. If you look at South America, there's been all sorts of revolutions going on, dictatorships with Pinochet. You had Noriega, you had Che Guevara. I mean, you name it. They had Perón. They had everything there, and they there's a lot of people there who don't like Jewish people, and you're getting these people in thinking that they're going to be your friends or they're going to vote Democratic, which I think it's a big mistake from the Democratic Party to do so. So I will get to back to a different video talking about with the Democratic Party. I'm starting with all this, so this is kind of new for me, and I hope people don't take offense of what I'm doing here. I'm not doing it with malice, but I am exposing what I think is going to happen, and I think it's something that many Jewish people think they can erase. Persecuting the people or going after the people who are against the flyers, it's only going to encourage them to do to expose more the situation. And I think there needs to be a conversation in the Jewish community where they really speak about, what their position is in the United States and how can they make a difference for this rise to kind of quench. But I think that the strategy that they're using is basically shutting down people's voices. I wouldn't be surprised they shut me down as well, call me an anti-Semite or whatever. That's fine if you believe that. That's okay. But or anti-Jewish or whatever. But at the end of the day, there will be repercussions for this. And trust me, right now everybody is kind of hanging tight. Right now, the economy is not in the best position possible. You know, um, but eventually, if something happens, um, it's gonna get real bad. It's gonna get real bad for Jewish people, and I hope they know that what I'm saying is not a joke. They're gonna suffer a prosecution here, and and it's not gonna be nice. It's not gonna be nice. I advise them to be smart. I mean, they are smart already, but you can be so smart that you can commit the most stupid mistakes sometimes. And I think that they really need to. I mean, I even met Asian people, and these are, Asian people tend to be more progressive in many of the things they think. Some not. Some are more conservative. But the newer generations, even the newer generations, blame the Jews for a lot of things, which shocks me, um, because I realize, like, wow, these people are anti-Semitic as well. So it seems like, Luis Farrakhan. I saw the last speech that he had, which was basically blaming the Jews for everybody, and many blacks actually believe in Luis Farrakhan. So all these different things, little by little, are gonna choke. They're putting a stronghold, strength. I say the word, but so cold, and what could happen next. And I think it's not being approached the right way. I think it's being approached in a way that, in fact, it seems like you're trying to hurt these people or teach them a lesson. That's not going to work. Every time you put one fire out, 20 come out because people get angry. And you know I think that eventually they will be expelled from United States, and many of them will be killed and slaughtered in a few years from now if something doesn't come about. I hate to say that, but I have given many predictions, and that's one prediction that I know for a fact will happen for sure. For sure it will happen. So, to my Jewish friends, and, it is true that, you do run a lot of different sectors of the economy. It is true that you wield power, but you got to be responsible with that. And unfortunately, some of the things that we're seeing, and some of the, people are not going to understand you. I mean, the people who don't have an education, or they don't see what's going on, and people who actually have an education, are many of them are the ones attacking you. And it's not just white supremacists. You can blame it on white supremacy, but I'm telling you, Latinos, a lot of blacks, a lot of Asians are also anti-Semitic too, or anti-Jewish or whatever. And and you're building up an atmosphere that will eventually cripple you. So that's just one of my first videos on this. I'll speak about different controversial topics as well. And if you like my channel, I try to be as transparent as possible, not cutting edges with anything. Please like and subscribe. And if you know, well, no problems. Thank you for watching anyway. Enjoy and have a great day. And um, you know, share it with other people. Have a good one.